Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be doing a writing and a craft for a very special holiday that we celebrate, for good reason. And it is a day that we get to celebrate and learn about someone who made a huge difference in this world and is very important and made a big change in our country and really around the globe. That person is Martin Luther King Jr. So you can see that I have different books, and this is a holiday we celebrate in January. And again, he played such a big role in our history in America, but he really is an important human in the history of the world and the change he made. So Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., there are lots of different books you can read about him. These are just some of them. This one is a cool little picture book about him, Martin Luther King Jr., and his life. Also have some easy reader ones where it's Dream March and the march that he completed that has one of the most famous speeches, I Have a Dream. Lots of different ones. This is also about the march, As Good as Anybody. And different ones, so just kind of learning more about him and how to celebrate, how we celebrate the holiday, what we do, different things like that. This one's actually a really cool picture book. It's written by his sister. So it says, "March on, the day my brother Martin changed the world." So this is a really special one because it is someone who knew him super well. He is very interesting to learn about, very fascinating. I always say he's such a neat person to learn about. He was so kind and really did his best to help others and change things and really show kindness even when he wasn't shown it himself. I love learning about him and talking about him and teaching about him because I think in general, not only did he help change the world, but he is a great example of how anyone can do something kind and help someone else out and help make change and help make the world a better place. Doesn't matter who it is. Even especially when someone says that you can't do something, you still can. So today's craft is like this. And we're going to be doing a writing. You're going to be making all of this. I know it seems a little hard, but it won't be, I promise. And you're going to need a lot of different things. Our writing is going to be about what is your dream that you have. So Martin Luther King Jr., like I said, he had a very famous speech, and it starts out with "I have a dream." And if you haven't seen it, I highly suggest you see it. You can actually find it online, and it's one of my favorite ones to actually watch because these people marched so long to show in a kind way, in a safe way, how they felt like things needed to be different and that everyone should be treated equally and the same. And it doesn't matter what color your skin is, you are still a person and we should all have the same rights. And again, they did this in a way that was peaceful, it was kind. There were so many different people who came and joined and participated. And this happened, it wasn't a super long time ago, but it was long enough that they couldn't travel places easy. It wasn't like we can now, where it's really quick for us to drive or get on a train or go on an airplane and it's fast and we can do it. It wasn't like that back then. And they actually marched into Washington, D.C. and watching the video, if you haven't, I highly suggest you do, because to see all the people there that came and supported and wanted to share that same dream with them, absolutely amazing. So let's go ahead and get our pieces that we need. You are going to want a few different materials today. So again, this is what we'll be making. And yours is going to look a little bit different than mine because the hands on here are going to be your hands and mine. So yours are going to be a little bit tinier than mine are. Mine are quite big. We are going to need a sheet of paper. So you can actually do this on any different background color you want. I have gray. I have done it on white before, or not white, blue. This is a different version. So on a blue, I actually like it on blue. I've done it on black. I like it on black. But you can choose whatever color you want. It's up to you. It does not need to be the color that I have. Again, I have gray, but you can do yours whatever one you feel. You're also going to need one of the writing papers. So there are different ones. There's one that has the beginning of a sentence, so "I have a dream," and you can write it, and it has our printing lines. We have one that has, again, the "I have a dream," but it has different size lines, so it doesn't have those printing lines. I also have it where it doesn't have the "I have a dream," but we have just the lines. You can choose which one you would like. doesn't matter. And they are half sheets, so it will just go on the bottom part of our page. The other thing is, besides your writing, in your background paper, you're going to need, we have a brown square, we have a beige or tan square, and we have a blue square, and we have a pink square. So our three bigger squares, you're going to notice, are about the same size. Your brown and your beige may be put together already, which is great. If they're not, I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that. Then we have our smaller square that's going to be our hearts. You're also going to need scissors, of course, and a glue stick. And you're going to want a pen or a pencil to write with. We're also going to use oil pastels. So I have, these are the colors I have. And I actually don't think I used my brown last time. I have blue and green and white. You might want brown. I'm using this to make the earth. So I'm going to be using it to add details like the land part of the earth. I added some waves with my blue last time. And if you don't have to do this part, or if you don't have oil pastels, which if you don't, that's fine. You can just use crayons. You can use colored pencil. You can use marker. It doesn't matter. Whatever you have, make it work. It's fine. I'm going to use oil pastels just because I can blend it out. If you're doing oil pastels like I am, I suggest you get wipes or tissue or something, because if you're using your finger, it's going to get messy. So I like to have a wipe to wipe it off. You could also smear it or smudge it with a tissue or with a Q-tip. So it's your choice. I prefer my finger just because I think it blends better. And the last thing you will need is a stapler, but this is only if your two papers aren't stapled together. Mine are not, so I'm going to show you what to do with that. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to get started. I'm going to set aside my background paper because I'm not going to need that just yet. All right, so my first step that I'm going to do is I'm going to get my two colored papers that are brown and beige. You could do any colors you want. I actually chose these two, and they're from a pack of paper that I have that is skin tone colors. So there's all different shades. These are just the two I chose. And this is because when Martin Luther King was doing his speech and marching, it was because he wanted people to be treated fairly and equally, and the color of their skin didn't matter, because back then it mattered. And we know now it really doesn't. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take these two squares and stack them up. I'm then going to staple them together on the corners like this. Okay. And this is for the next step that we'll do. So I stapled each corner. I've had my staplers that I don't need anymore. And I'm doing this because what I'm going to be doing is tracing my hand and then cutting it out. My hand is probably bigger than yours. Maybe not. I don't know. Sometimes I've had kids who have just as big as hands as me. So what I'm going to do is you can either do this yourself, or you can have someone help you, which might be a little bit easier, especially if you're not used to doing this. And you're going to put your hands on this paper. And I want to make sure all my fingers are on, because I'm going to be cutting it out to look like a hand, so we want all our fingers on. So my palm is off a little bit, but my fingers are on. Again, if you are not me, you probably have small hands and it fits. So what we do is I'm going to take my pencil, and I'm just going to go around as close to my finger as I can. I like to actually pick my pencil up and just move it, not just do one continuous. Okay, so you can see like right here, I didn't do that perfect. Okay, so that's pretty good. You can see down here it's not connected, so I'm just gonna connect those. And now what I'm gonna do is cut this out. So that's my scissors, and this is why having it stapled is helpful. We're going to cut out your hands. Okay, so mine are still stapled here. Yours probably, again, if your fingers are smaller than mine, yours is probably not stuck together. If it is, just you can get a staple remover and remove it. And then you'll notice that where my staple is, let it go around. So I'm going to just trim that. And now you should have two hands. Okay. Again, yours are probably smaller. I'm going to set that aside. My next step is I'm going to cut my world, which is round. So I'm going to get my blue square. To do this, we're going to cut off triangles off of each corner. Okay, so you should have 4 triangles. Now an octagon, what we're going to do is I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to cut off those corners, straight line across. And you're going to notice it starts to get rounder, and just keep trimming. It's pretty round. You can notice mine's not a perfect circle, but that's okay. Doesn't need to be absolutely perfect. I'm going to set that aside and do my last cut so I can finish my cutting, and then I am going to do my oil pastels. So we're going to take our heart shape, or we're going to make our heart shape. You're going to get our square, and I'm going to fold it in half. And you could do the square red too, or a different color. It doesn't have to be pink. I just like pink. And there are 2 ways we can do this. Either, but both, I will tell you. It matters where you fold this. So I just folded it. Here's my fold on this side. So you can either draw a heart shape on the side of the fold. Okay, so you can do it like draw half of a heart. Okay, like that. And then you just keep it folded and you cut it. Or, I'm going to show you this way, but I'm going to take this off so you don't see it. I'm just going to fold it like that. Or, if you want to try doing it without drawing a heart, we can do that as well. And I'm going to show you how. So, what I'm going to do is, here's my fold. Okay, and I'm going to draw, I'm not going to draw, I'm going to cut a line from that corner and just like diagonally across to cut off. Okay, then I'm going to turn it so I have like a really big triangle shape. I'm going to cut off square like that, or a triangle like that. And then do you see where this one ended? I'm going to go to my middle, straight to that. Okay, so it kind of looks like a heart. Now I need to make it round. So I'm going to cut off that point. And then I'm going to trim. We're not going to trim on the folded side, okay? Just trim the rest of them to make them not 50. Okay. So now, are you ready? Ta-da! Look at that heart. It's good, right? Okay. So we finished our cutting parts. Now we're going to do our pastel. So I'm using oil pastel. An oil pastel, if you don't know, it's similar to a crayon, but it's oil, which is why it's called an oil pastel. But it means that it can spread easier, it can blend. It is a little bit messier. What is art if it is not messy? That's part of art. We're gonna draw the world, or just kind of draw the land parts of it. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not so great with drawing the land parts. I am not gonna make them look like the actual world, because I honestly cannot tell you exactly how they all look. I can tell you general ideas and where they are, but maps are not my thing. So I'm just gonna draw a land area, and I'm gonna mix my light and dark green. So I'm gonna draw one here, and then I'm gonna draw one down here. Similar shape to Africa, kind of. And then I'm gonna draw one over here. And then draw some like eye lines if you want. And then down here. And again, it does not have to be perfect. It doesn't have to actually look like the real Earth. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, mine does not. Not at all. So, yours also does not. Don't feel bad. Okay, so now I'm going to take my dark and I'm going to go over it. Okay, so like this. I'm not worrying about coloring it all in just yet. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. And also, think about a globe. It is not completely covered by land. It's actually mostly covered by water, and our blue is our water. So your next step for oil pastel is, I like to use my finger. You can use a Q-tip or put a Kleenex on your finger. And all you do is you can smudge it or blend it together. So I like to just go in and use my finger, and we're just kind of pressing and rubbing it together. I like to do like little circular motions. It blends it better. You do however you would like. And you'll notice that I like to go in and kind of make those lines disappear so it looks like it's actual land and like it is part of globe. You'll see your finger gets dirty if you do this way. That's why I said make sure you have tissue or a baby wipe to wipe it off when you're done. With my green, I'll wipe my finger off. Okay, the next step, if you want, you can add like some waves with blue just to show the water. You don't have to. And again, you could do this with crayon or markers too. You don't have to do oil pastel. I just like it because it makes it a little bit more interesting, and we don't really get to use oil pastels as much. And then I like to just kind of go over that, and I don't blend it too much, but I make it a little bit softer looking. So if you're doing a marker or a crayon or a colored pencil, you can't really do this part, the blending, but you could still draw all these pieces. And there we go. So I have that, and then got my heart back up. So before I glue everything together, I'm gonna do my writing piece really quick. And I'm gonna use this one that says I have a dream. Yours may already be cut out. This says I have a dream. And then you're gonna fill in, what is your dream? What do you wish? What do you want? What is something you hope for? It could be similar to Martin Luther King. It could be something that's based off of your own life. You're gonna write down what your dream is, and then you're gonna put your name, and then we're gonna glue it all together. So I'm gonna go ahead and write mine, and then we'll put this craft together. Okay, so once you have your writing done, let's gather all our pieces, and you're going to need your glue stick. So the first step is I like to always glue down my writing, and I put that at the bottom. You could put it at the top too, it's up to you. I just like mine at the bottom. And I'm gonna glue it down and press that. So the next step, I actually like to place before I do anything with it, because what we are going to do is you're gonna put your world will go in the middle, and my heart's gonna be the very last thing I do. I'm gonna set that aside. My next step is my hands. I like to do it, so you could do it like this, but the only problem is that you can't see the world as much because our thumbs. Your hands, if your hands are tinier, you probably can see the world, so you could just do it like this, and that would be a lot easier. If you have bigger hands like me, you may want to do this. So I like my hands to be over. I like to stick that thumb underneath like that, okay? I'm gonna do that on both sides, just like this, okay? Like these two hands are coming together to hold the world and make the world better, which hopefully is something you guys do, right? Help make this world a better place. So I'm gonna put just the glue on the thumbs and glue those parts down first, because I know where I want them to go. Okay, so under, there you go. Again, my hands are much bigger than yours are probably. So yours will probably not hang off the paper. Mine does. I will show you how to fix that if yours does as well. So now I'm going to glue on the back of this. Here. I'm not going to glue down the whole hand just yet because I think part of this hangs off. So let's see. I'm going to flip it over and put this down and press. Then, because you'll notice our little fingers I like to lift up each finger and just put a little bit of glue underneath. Same on this one. Lift it up, glue it down. Lift it up, glue it down. Lift it up, glue it down. I'm gonna get all the way up here. Perfect. And then my last piece, I'm gonna put my heart on. Put glue on the heart. Oh, hopefully your glue stick doesn't break. But good news, it's the very last piece I have to glue, so yay. Press it down. Okay, this is what I like to do when I have pieces like this. Flip it over and press it down. Really get all those pieces to stay. Okay, so while I have it flipped over, my next step is, since my hands hung off, I'm going to just follow along my background paper and trim off the extra. And then, are you ready? Ta-da! We did it. So that is our craft. I hope you guys enjoyed making this craft. I hope you enjoyed learning about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as much as I do. Again, he's a very fascinating man, a very important man. And I hope that he inspires you to do things to help change the world and make a difference just like he did. Don't forget to follow along when we do some other crafts and fun activities just like this.